In the wake of the leak of the Pentagon Papers and with the arrest of Jack Teixeira, a young Air National Guardsman charged with the offence of making those leaks, the Ministry of Defence here has looked at its own processes to see if there are any lessons to be learned. That was given in answer to an urgent question on the matter in the Commons today. Well, talk of lessons to be learned from those US leaks. What are they? Well, as a start, I spoke to the editor-in-chief of WikiLeaks, an Icelandic journalist, Kristen Hrafnsson.
The information that is out there in these documents is extremely important, and it's in the public interest, of course, to dwell on it and report on it to the general public. It does paint a totally different picture of the situation in Ukraine than we have been told. There has been a fog of war when it comes to number of casualties and the situation with the warring parties, etc. So it's in the public interest to get a clearer picture of what actually the situation is in Ukraine.
Do you think there's anything that should be kept secret by the state, though? Because, of course, the danger of saying, well, we've learned something from it, it's in the public interest, is that one might say the logical extension of that view is there just should be no state secrets. And I'm sure there are people who believe that even the timing of D-Day shouldn't have been a state secret in the Second World War, because there's nothing which the people shouldn't be told.
Well, there's a huge difference between the absurd escalation of secrecy in latter times and a policy of no secrecy at all. Yes, there is a justification for some secrecy, but that's a far cry from the arbitrary regime of putting everything under secrecy, as we have seen now, especially in the United States, this last 20 years.
Are you surprised that this young man appears to have had quite as much access as he did?
Well, I think we should frame this differently and say, why on earth do you put a secrecy stamp on all these documents, which has been escalating exponentially over the last years? Of course, that calls for access by individuals, and there are now probably a number between 2 and 3 million in the US who have access to secret documents. I'm not surprised at all, and I think that's going to be more of it.
You actually obviously were leakers with a cause. You believe very strongly, Kristen, in this open government principle, more transparency and fewer secrets. These recent Pentagon leaks do not appear to be leaks with a cause, as everybody seems to agree. These seem to have been a bit of showing off with no intention of them coming into public domain. Does that make them less worthy, if you like, of our respect as a way in which information has found its way into the public domain?
Not at all. I mean, you just have to look at the documents and judge them independently of how it came into the hands of journalists. That's what journalists do. They should not think about the intention of the leaker. Simply, it has to pass the public interest test. Should it be out there? If yes, you publish it. It's about informed decision by the public in an open democracy. Transparency is one of the foundation of our principles in a democracy. People have the right to know, and they should know.